The Honest Psychiatrist. Episode 15. I spent some years prescribing psychotropic drugs that flatten the emotional and libidinal sphere of patients, but I was not satisfied, so I changed course and turned to psychoanalysis. I can maintain a concentrated air while seeing patients who make an effort to introduce their problems. I give the impression that their confidences are for me, as well as worthy of interest and attention, valuable material to be handled with care. To tell the truth, behind the patient's tension are more often than not trite arguments, and I am not impressed. I spend long moments in silence with my fingertips together, observing and listening to the patient who feels important and center stage. And during the sessions I love the way my thoughtful sentences, which I try to sound out in a deep tone like pearls of wisdom, make my patient's eyes light up, as if discovering that new perspective has the power to change something about their situation. They look at me as if I were a genius, a magician, a prescient, a profound and ultra-sensitive connoisseur of the inner world. The onset of transference is quite obvious, but I enjoy noticing the first signs, to which I can promptly respond by maintaining an understanding but cold and detached attitude. I know that this only fuels the patient's feelings, so desperate for human feedback. A great frustration grows in him/her as they are denied the chance to understand what I am thinking in my heart, and a part of them deludes themselves that I can have certain feelings stirring in me. More than anything else, I think that compared to these wretches I am on a different level, thank God, and myself. But it's funny to observe their unawareness and the emotional intensity of which they are victims. Through the feelings they project onto me, I help patients to become increasingly aware of the childhood narcissistic emotional wounds that have triggered their psychic defenses. And I point out how their neurotic disorders have only made their nightmares more and more real. But it is not only the intrapsychic bereavement and conflicts that keep them in limbo, decentralized and unable to grasp the present and the affections with genuine participation, but also the analytic therapy itself, during which they will continue to have an unsatisfactory and alienated life. In fact, usually their affective and erotic needs will be heavily invested in me and will be cultivated every day on a phantasmatic level. In the meantime, I will be advancing in my career, making a living and remembering them when my eyes land on their name written on the work schedule. The therapy will be concluded when the patient is well aware that neurosis has effectively stolen all the years of his youth, including all the years of analysis, and this for his own responsibility. Losing every good opportunity that life gave him. Continually distressing himself without having the resources to break out of the vicious circle that he had created for himself with the mirage of being able to recover his past image. Only to find himself today naked in the face of stark reality, without affection, without his parents with whom he could compare himself. Someone actually poorer than average in the eyes of society and not just failed in his own heart. Why am I throwing my life away? This is the question that with analysis the patient can slowly find an answer to as he continues to waste time of his life. I also find the moment of dismissal memorable, where I think back for a moment to his first session and see him now, so aged, unfolded, and with the realization that his life has gone this way and he no longer has any excuse to maintain counterproductive neurotic behavior in the secret hope of waking up from a bad dream or getting a huge payback from heaven. The present he has built for himself is right there in front of his eyes, and he is finally free to go it alone. I smile at him as I imagine handing him a big shovel rather than my hand. To clear a path for himself in that deep shit, or to dig himself a grave, that's none of my business.